Welcome to CrossCourt Conversation. We are back at it again. Season 2 just never ends, man. It has to end one of these days. This is like the longest season ever.
Yeah, I'm running out of beer, man.
And I think they're tired of hearing from us, man. Well, we have a special guest. All our guests are special, of course. But we have here Bryant Thao. What's up, Bryant?
What's up, Will?
Okay, Bryant here is a kicker over at Cal Poly. So the unique thing about Bryant is he has NFL talent. So not a lot of Hmong athletes have that elite talent. So Bryant could potentially be in the NFL. But as you know, everybody who is trying to make the NFL or whatever, we are going to go through some growing pains. And then Brian's going to share a little bit about his story and how all this kicking stuff evolved, because he is pretty new to this kicking game, right, Brian?
Yeah, I'm definitely pretty new to this game, yeah.
So just the amount of time that he's able to put himself on the map that quickly, man, that's like an extremely inspirational story, man. We're going to touch base a little bit on that as well, too. So we have here Bryant Thao. Brian, thank you for coming on. I know that it is in the middle of the season. You're extremely busy. I know we were supposed to come on yesterday, but you know everybody's very busy. We are totally understand. We totally understand that as well, too, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys for having me, and thank you guys for being flexible as well.
Yeah, no problem. And I like botched the time. I was like, man, all these times messing me up. Man, like 5 p.m. Central Time. That'll be like 3 p.m. your time, man. Like, damn. But we're all here. All right, let's get started. With all these people saying what's up already, Brian. Brian, hey, man. Thought Slayer say here that you're a beast at volleyball. We're gonna go off script a little bit, man. Tell me a little bit about your volleyball. Why are you such a beast?
Is that Ethan? I'm assuming it's Ethan.
Yeah.
Thought Slayer. Yeah. So I grew up originally playing soccer and volleyball first, right? So soccer was like the first sport that I ever played, and then volleyball just kind of came in as well. I mean, my family, we always grew up playing volleyball. The first team that I really played for was A team. I'm sure if you guys heard of it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. My cousins, they created the team. But I played throughout elementary, played throughout middle school, played throughout high school. You know, high school was definitely volleyball. High school volleyball was definitely fun. You know, I was lucky enough to be on a team where we won a D2 state title, and we also won the CIF Valley Championship my senior year this past year. So I was lucky enough to be on those teams, and volleyball always have a special place in my heart. As much as I love football, you know, like volleyball is just it's fun, and I enjoy it in a different way.
Okay. Now, do you keep up with the Hmong volleyball scene as well too then?
Yeah. That's like the main thing I watch at the New Year's or like anything I go to, because I mean soccer's cool and all, but it's always gonna be like violence and stuff. So it's just like volleyball is respectable
Right.
community. You just watch that.
And, you know, the unique thing about volleyball is like a beautiful game to watch. Whenever I watch volleyball, it's just like so many moving parts, and it's just like so beautiful to watch. That's why it's just a different type of game.
Who's your pick? Who's your pick for President of New Year, man?
That's a tough one. I don't know who signed up. Like I don't know who signed up yet. So I'm not sure. A team always has. I always have. I always have. They have to win. You know? They have the potential. I know they're gonna pick one eventually. I know they'll pick one. So I think my bet this year is A team. If they decide to play together as a team, I think A team would be. But also Ethan Dossler, their young team is coming up too.
I hope so. I hope they stick together.
Yeah.
Those young guys. So, all right. With this, hey, thank you for sharing a little bit about your volleyball, but that's not why we're here, right? We're here because you have this lethal right leg, man. But before we get started all that, man, can you share a little bit about your family background, who your pops and moms are, and, you know, your brothers and sisters and your siblings? Share a little bit about your family background, man.
Yeah, definitely. So, I have a family of 7. There's 7 of us total. So my mom and dad. I have an older sister who's the oldest, an older brother. My sister's name is Catalina. My brother's name is Brandon. Then there's me, the middle child, right? And then I have two younger sisters, Carity and Peyton. So my dad's name is B Tao, and my mom's name is Pahua Tao. And then my dad's in Sounders, so I grew up with listening to Sounders, going to the rehearsals, the concerts, the everything. So
Oh, for real? I did not know that, bro.
yeah. So yeah, I grew up doing all that. So it was
Dope
fun.
as heck.
Then,
Are you musical too? Is the family musical?
Yeah, the family's musical. I'm musical too. Yeah, I play instruments.
Okay.
So,
What do
Yeah.
you sing or do you play
I
instrument or
I sing here and there. I play the piano and guitar, but I like the piano the best.
okay? Did you pick it up from your dad or you just kind of pick it up by yourself? How did that happen?
It's a mixture of both. Like I kind of picked it up myself, but at the same time, growing up like with music, like all the time being surrounded with music, I just kind of fell in love with it. You know, I liked it too as well. Like it was like my getaway from sports, like to relax. So I found piano. Like I started off with guitar, and then like I somehow found piano, and then I found out piano was more of my mojo. You know.
Man, multi-talented.
Dude,
there,
this
man.
dude.
This guy right here. What about your family? Are they is everyone into sports or is it just you who kind of fell into sports?
I played soccer with my dad. My dad always trained us to play soccer first, and then my mom didn't really have a sports background. Not too sure what she did growing up, you know. But mostly my dad and my uncles, like my dad's side, we're all into sports. You know, we all grew up playing soccer and volleyball. Never football. Never football. Only soccer and volleyball, right? And then my sister, she played volleyball in high school. And then my brother was a soccer and a volleyball athlete, and he played a little bit of club soccer at Fresno State, and then played in a few tournaments too with A team in the most recent tournaments, right? And then there's me, right, who played I played multiple sports. My younger sister, Kara D, she's a 7th grader right now, right? She's pretty athletic too. She's kind of following in my footsteps. She wants to be involved like me, so she's in cheer. She's doing softball, I believe, this upcoming spring, and she just finished her volleyball season. So, and then I have a baby sister who's 6. I'm not sure what she's into yet, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with her.
Okay. Now, have your status? I know you say you're the middle child, right? You know how the middle child syndrome. Have your status changed ever since you went to Cal Poly? Has it like climbed up a notch, or is it still Bryant, that middle child at home?
You got more clout now or what? I don't know if that's like the proper way to use that word, but
I don't know. I guess you can see like the middle child syndrome. You always see like the forgotten child, right? Like, you know, but maybe I feel like it's gone up a little bit since I'm here. You know, they always come to my game like, oh, we always got to go to Brian's game, right? No, I still feel the same. I don't feel like I got like I don't feel like I got more clout. I still feel like it's you know?
Well, you know what? Family, they always keep you humble, right? Whenever you think you're missed a big shot, whatever, you come back home, you still got to do the dishes, do your laundry, all this kind of stuff, man.
Exactly. Yep.
That's the good thing about family. So for sure. Brian, so you share a little bit about playing soccer and volleyball. You obviously played for a championship team for high school. Did you play organized soccer? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Oh yeah. I didn't play as much organized soccer as my brother. My brother was more of a soccer guy, so my brother played organized soccer, club soccer, all of his like middle school, elementary, high school, right? So that kind of inspired me to play organized soccer for a bit. So I played organized soccer like from like maybe kindergarten when I was young to like 4th and 5th grade. From there, I was like, you know, soccer's not my thing. So I stopped after that, and then I just did it for fun in high school and middle school.
Okay. So, but you always had that kicking power in high school, or what's up with that?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in school.
I did have that kicking power, that leg in high school, you know, like for me personally in soccer, like I wouldn't say I'm like really good. I would just say I had a leg, I had physicality, and I had like some speed. That's all I would say. I didn't say like, oh, I was good in soccer. Like I was like, no, kind of just have a leg. You know, coach put me in
Okay.
to take the goal kicks or like take those long range shots. Pretty much.
Is that something you got into by yourself, or was it something your dad kind of nudged you, or your brother, or what?
Soccer, kinda. Growing up, like when I was young, I was like, oh, I'm gonna play soccer because like my brother and my dad are doing it, you know. So I was like, I was following their footsteps. But as I grew older, I was like, it's kind of not my thing, you know. Like I play here and there for fun, but I don't see myself playing this at like a higher level. It's just I didn't feel the passion I felt for it compared to like volleyball and football.
Right. Right. And then how did you playing soccer? How did you fall into football? Who kind of steered you that way, or what happened? How did you found that talent in football, and how did you started playing?
So I just played soccer and volleyball in middle school, right? And then freshman year during registration, I was like, all right, I'm just high school, I'm just gonna play soccer and volleyball. That's it. Like I don't want to do anything else.
Yeah.
Didn't imagine myself playing volleyball or football. And then like, but within that time, my aunt and family was always like, we need someone to play football, you know, like we've always wanted to go to football games. And she would always like drive me. She was like, oh, Muchi, go play football. I'll buy you cleats. I'll buy you this, buy you that. And I'm like, no, that's not my thing. Like, I can't. I was like, I'm too small. You know, I'm like, I'm 5'6". I can't play football. I'm too small. And then luckily, somehow my friends managed to convince me at registration. I was literally getting my classes, and they're like, right, just come out. We need you to come kick for us. That's all we need to do. We all need you to do. And I was like, why not? It's high school. Just try new things. See if I like it, you know? So I was like, all right, let's try it. And then from there, I kind of just enjoyed it. You know, I was kicking pretty good freshman year, and then things just escalated from there. That's how I really got into football.
Dang, you just fell right into it.
Yeah.
So you were just minding your own business, and then all of a sudden you just kind of walked into it, and then you find out you're pretty good. Now, can you talk about the difference between kicking a soccer ball and then kicking a football, and how did you make that adjustment? Was it pretty hard?
Yeah. So in my opinion, I'm pretty sure all the kickers think this, but kicking a soccer ball and a football is like it's different. Like soccer ball is obviously a round to circle, you know, so it's gonna be easier to get, I guess I would say, contact on it. It's not like a kind of like a diamond shape like a football. For football, it's to the point where if you don't hit the ball in the right spot, like the ball's not gonna go anywhere, no matter how hard you hit it. If you don't hit it in that little sweet spot on the right part of your foot, it's just not going to go anywhere. But soccer is the same thing. Like you have to hit the right spot of the ball to do the certain kick that you want to do. But it was a different transition for me. So when I first started, I would kick the football like a soccer ball, and I was like, this doesn't feel right. Like I got hurt more because I was kicking it like a soccer ball, right? But then like throughout time, I coached myself for a bit, watched YouTube videos, and I tried transitioning, and it took me like almost a year because of all the years I played soccer and not football. Try to get that muscle memory like out of my head and learn something new. So it was a difficult challenge, but now as you can see, it worked out for me. But it was definitely a rough transition to change.
Did you play other positions or other than kicking?
Yeah. So freshman year, they're like, you know how they said they just wanted me to be kicker, you know, but then the coaches saw my athleticism, right? They saw my speed, and they were like, no, you're not playing just kicker. Like you're gonna play like they put me at wide receiver. I had some reps at running back. I got some reps in like corner and safety, and then that was my freshman year, right? But then when I got pulled up to varsity, it wasn't until this past year, senior and junior year, where they were like, hey, like listen, like you're pretty athletic, you know, like you can help us out much more with just kicking. But then I said no, like as much as I wanted to, and like I regret not playing. Is just like I think it was the better and safer route for me, because playing other positions would have just increased my chances of getting hurt. And then who would have thought maybe I would have got hurt and not be where I'm at right now. So I took that sacrifice, and I was like, you know, just
it became a business decision. Now, like, what's the key? Like, what's the key in your opinion? Like, is it, kicking as far as you can kick? Like, is it leg speed, or is it, just having an eye for that sweet spot, or what?
of course it's leg speed as well. I mean, like leg speed is kind of raw talent, but at the same time you can also work for leg speed. But leg speed is always a factor, but the most like important factor is mostly just your foot to ball contact. So your contact on the ball with your foot. Because like I said, like no matter how hard you kick it, if you don't get that perfect contact or that like decent contact, the ball's not going to go anywhere. So especially for kickoffs and field goals, if you want to get like that height that you want or the distance and hang time that you want in the kickoffs, you need to get that perfect foot to ball contact.
Can you go through a sequence for us?
Yeah, definitely. So for me to aim and look at the sweet spot, I try to look at the middle of the ball. The sweet spot is like that's a little bit under the middle of the ball, right? But I try to aim for the middle of the ball because if you're looking, I learned this from my coach. He said if you're looking like at the sweet spot, you're gonna hit below it. So look at the middle of the ball and then you'll hit the sweet spot of the ball. So like my steps for kickoffs would be 9 steps back and then 5 steps to the right. So then I would just slow, smooth tempo, right? And just my eyes are always locked on the sweet spot, no matter what. Like nothing else. I'm not looking at anything else, just a sweet spot. And then like as you're making contact, you want to keep your eye down at the ball and just head down and follow through. That's what I remind myself right when I'm about to kick. Head down, follow through. Because if you look up too quick, you lose your eyesight on the sweet spot. So then you don't get that proper contact.
And then where on your foot are you targeting that ball to contact?
On your foot, it's kind of hard to explain. I need like a visual, but it's like
is it midfoot or closer to midfoot or is it heel or?
Let's say midfoot, mostly midfoot.
Okay.
You want to keep your ankle locked at all times through contact, right? And you want to hit that mid area of your foot, like right in your laces area, right there.
Okay. Yeah. Dang. And that's a lot of accuracy right there.
Yeah, I was gonna say like there's like so many room for error. Now, when you miss a field goal, do you know exactly why you missed it right away when you like mess something up? Because there's like so much technicality that goes into it. Do you know right away?
Yeah,
you have to go look at film.
You can look at film too, but when you're in the moment, like you can kind of tell when something's off. Like as soon as you make contact with the ball, you know, kind of like volleyball. Like when you swing and like say you hit your fingers or you don't.
Is there a certain sound to it?
Yeah, you hear like that pop, you know.
Yeah,
like, hear that pop, but yeah, like for me, as soon as I miss a kick, I was like, oh no, that didn't feel right. Like as soon as I hit the ball, it's just like, damn, that wasn't right. I didn't hit it properly and clean, you know. Same with like every sport. Like I mentioned volleyball, like when you're setting, when you're passing, or when you make a hit, like you know when it's a good contact, you know. You feel it, you hear it, you do everything. But same thing for football. Like when you miss kick a ball, you feel it as soon as you make contact. And then when you go to film, you can dissect it more and like see what you did. But that feeling it doesn't feel right when you miss a kick.
Yeah, man, kicking is not easy. I mean, the other stuff, a lot of the other position in football, you're basically just big and you're running and hitting people, where kicking is more technical. And we were talking off air that, you know, as a quarterback, if you miss 15 throws and you connect like 4 or 5 touchdowns, you're still like considered like a Hall of Fame player. Yeah. But with kicking, you have like no room for error, man. How do you prepare yourself each and every kick mentally for this? What's going through your head? What are you telling yourself? Before a kick, I'm always telling myself, obviously head down, follow through, but just smooth and clean contact. Like don't try to overpower it. Just smooth, nice, smooth. Like focus on fundamentals. Don't focus on killing the ball. Focus on fundamentals. You know, and at the same time, if I miss a kick before, I'm always like, hey, like it's tough in the moment, but at the same time, you got to be mentally strong and you build up your mental strength, right? Yeah, I always tell myself, hey, like next kick, you can't do anything about that previous kick. Focus on the next kick, and that's all you have to do. You can't worry about the pass. You just got to keep focusing on the next and the next kick, because it's not like you said, like a QB where you can have multiple chances like that. It's just one opportunity. So just focus on the next opportunity and take advantage of it. Yeah. Sure. Talk about that big opportunity. Now, can you talk a little bit about that 49-yard field goal against the crosstown rival in West, sending that game to overtime. What was going through your head? Are you the type of person where, okay, I'm gonna get ready for a field goal, nobody talk to me, or are you kind of relaxed over there just chilling with teammates? Or what's going through your head during that 49-yard field goal against West? I believe it was just last year, right?
Yeah, this was just happened a few months ago, like in April. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty clutch. There's a lot of college football players who can't even make a 49-yard field goal. And for you to do it in high school against a crosstown rival with everything on the line, if you miss, you guys are pretty much like lost. And you make it, you send it to overtime. So tell us about that sequence. What was going through your head? What were you seeing? Can you walk us through that?
Yeah, so that moment was definitely one of my like key high school moments. Like I never thought I would be in that situation, especially from that distance, you know. In the years that I've been playing football at my high school, my coach wasn't a fan of taking kicks. You know, he trusted our offense to get that first down, get that conversion, you know. So when my number was called, I was like, oh yeah, I'm ready. I was like I'm ready. You know, like before that kick, I worked too hard in the off season to where I was gonna miss it. You know, I pictured in my head that I'm just gonna make this kick. I'm making this kick no matter what. I can't imagine myself not making this kick. I like imagined the ball going straight through the uprights, all that stuff. But when I'm on the sideline getting ready for a big kick like that, which was one of the first, I'm a mixture of both. I'm a mixture of like, don't talk to me, but then I'm also like my teammates are talking to me. I'm like, hey, like, don't worry, like, I got you guys. I'll save you guys. You know, I got you guys. Don't like trust me. Put your trust in me. You know, like, I'll get it, and I'll send this game to overtime for us. All right. And then they're like, yeah, I got you, Bryant. Like, come on, man. But they're sometimes like my teammates get more worried than me. I'm like, no, I got you. I got you. But yeah, that was definitely one of like the moments where I knew I was ready for, but a moment that I never thought that I would have to do it, especially in high school at that distance. You know, so it was it was a difficult challenge, but I was like, no, I'm ready for it. And then right before the kick, they try to ice me, right? They call it timeout.
Yeah.
I was like, nah, this isn't gonna work. And then the coaches were telling my teammates like, hey, don't talk to Bryant, like leave him alone. So I was like, Coach, like, no, I'm good, I got it. I was like, I got it, guys, like, I got it. And then next thing you know, I line up for the kick, and then one of the guys on the Clovis West team, so he's a good buddy of mine, Marcel Sanders, right? He's committed to San Jose State. He's there right now. And that guy was a big guy. He played D-line. So when he was trying to stand in front of me, he was blocking the whole upright. So I was just like, oh my gosh, this guy's huge. This guy's blocking my view. And I'm just like, all right. I told myself, I was like, just head down, follow through. You're gonna make this. You're gonna make this. And then honestly, like at that point, like I just remembered kicking it, and then as soon as I kicked it, I was like, oh, it's going in. And then
Kobe, right?
Kobe. Kind of blacked out in the moment. Like every time I have like a good kick, or even now, like every kick that I do, like I try to remember it again when I come back home. I kind of just black out in the moment because I'm just like too focused.
Wow.
In the moment. Yeah. And I want to remember it, but it goes away.
Yeah. Well, luckily it was on film, and it's gonna be there forever, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, did you know of the game plan that the coach said, okay, if we get to this spot, then Bryant's going in? Were you warned ahead of time, or was it just like a last second decision?
It was a last second decision because
really?
Yeah, our school has a history of every fourth down, right? We go for it no matter what, because we weren't a big kicking team, special teams team, you know. So it was like, I believe it was an overtime already, and it was 4th and 5, I believe, right? And we were going for it. It was 3rd and 5, and then we lost yards. But then one of my linemen, he had a personal foul. He started talking smack to the other team, to the ref. So he kind of set me up, and he made my job harder. So I wasn't expecting it. It was like 4th and 20, like 4th and 20, 4th and 25, and then everyone was like, we're going for it. Like, there's no way we're gonna go for the field goal. Like, there's no way. And then I was like, in my head, I was like, oh, it might be me, you know. So I was kind of ready, but at the same time, kind of not. I was like expecting both outcomes. I was expecting them to go for it at the same time. I was expecting to kick it due to the circumstances.
Did you go back? Did you get an opportunity to go back to your high school yet and like just strut and be like, "Yeah, I'm the one that kicked that 49-yarder." Y'all know me. Y'all know me.
Like in my off season, not in my off season, but like beginning of the season when I had like a bye week, I went home, right? I'm gonna go coach the new kicker right now. Honestly, my team in the school, they kind of hype me up more than I do. I like to stay humble. I don't really like talking about myself. So like this is kind of hard to do, but I don't really like to like go to my school and be like, yeah, like I'm the guy. I just like,
No.
you know, like they do my own hyping for my for me. So it's
Okay.
whatever, yeah.
So with this said, man, that kind of puts you on the map. Can you talk a little bit about the day that you found out that you were like a nationally ranked football player? How do they let you know? How do you know the list? Tell us a little bit about that.
So I was invited to a camp, right? So it's called the Rising Seniors Invitational Camp. It's like an invite only camp. It was in Dallas, Texas, and I got invited to that. And I was like, I got to go to this. You know, like this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. I had to go. It took a lot of convincing for my parents to actually take me and like provide the funds for me to go. Because I mean, one, it was during COVID, right? So when COVID first happened, and two, it was pricey as well. And like they didn't think that football was gonna be my thing. You know, nobody knew it was gonna be my thing. So it took a little convincing, but they were like, you know, let's try it.
Did you know?
Maybe it could work. Did I know that I was gonna go this far?
Yeah.
Personally, no.
Okay. Yeah.
Honest, like if I'm being honest, like I never thought that I could like get this far. But yeah, going back to the story, it was hard convincing them at first, right? And I just went to the camp. I had a mindset going to the camp like, hey, I'm just gonna compete, see where I'm at with everybody else, you know, and just do my thing. That's it. Just do my thing. And then I did well at the camp. I charted second overall out of like 60 guys that were invited to the kickoffs. And then for field goals, I charted I was like 7th or 8th overall.
Wow.
So that wasn't too bad.
Man,
and
that's
then
legit.
I was like, okay, like I did pretty good. You know, I had confidence. I was like, I did pretty good, you know. And then the rankings came out like a week or two later, right? And I was like, okay, let's see what it is. Like maybe I was like top 100. I was like, you know, based on the count, I was like maybe like 100th in the nation, maybe something like that. And then the rankings came out, and I believe I was like 50th in the nation, 12th in the state. I was ranked 4.5 stars.
Wow.
At the moment, yeah. And then I was like,
did you believe it yourself, bro?
At that moment, I was like, oh, I was like, I was like, dang.
You sure they got it right, man?
Yeah. My dad and my brother were also shocked too. They were like, no way, like this happened. I'm like, I was like, I guess. And then like, I posted it on my Twitter, you know, like because Twitter is like Twitter during COVID was like the main recruiting source because coaches couldn't come out and see you, you know, so Twitter was that. So like I posted it on Twitter, and then it just blew up, and then like that's when college coaches started contacting me more.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, was that when after you were ranked? Is that when you started getting all the phone calls, the recruiting letters, and all this kind of stuff?
Yeah. So after the rankings came in,
who else were the options?
After the rankings came in, you know, that's when everything just changed. Like on my phone, on my Twitter, my Twitter direct messages, like constantly coaches would message me and be like, hey Brian, like can we get your info? Like we're interested in you. Can we go on a hop in a call? You know, let's talk to this coach, like what's your GPA, all this stuff. And it felt unreal because like I wasn't reaching out to them. They were coming to me, you know? So like when the rankings came out, it was more of like it was credibility. It showed that like you're kind of like the real deal, you know? It provided a source for them to see if you're credible or not. And like that's when the coaches started coming in, and it was shocking for me to see because I had never thought that I would have like coaches coming to get me to go to their school.
Yeah, that's when they turn it on. And let me bring it back a little bit. You talk about your parents driving you all the way out to these, you know, tryouts or, you know, all these stuff. Can you talk a little bit about the role that your parents played in some of your development throughout the years and how important it was?
Yeah, or like even your siblings, your community,
Right.
you know what I mean, all that.
Mhm. My family, like I said, they played a role. Growing up in a Hmong household, they taught me just to focus on yourself, like be you. Don't be someone you're not. Like my mom always told me, like, don't be someone you're not. Just be yourself, work hard, and if you work hard, you can achieve your dreams. You can do anything you want, like in school, but in sports too. So that growing up with that like mentality and just having that surrounded by me at all times, like it really kind of shaped who I am today. Because I always had like that winning mindset where like, I can't lose. I've always wanted to win and succeed in whatever I want to do. And not only did that come from like my parents, especially coming from Laos and they were immigrants here working hard to be where we're at today, but like my brother too. My brother, my cousins, my whole family, they always encouraged me to always be like hardworking, and they wanted to make a name for Hmong people, So I was like, I gotta do this. So I always had that mindset to where I had that winning mindset to where like I have to win in everything I do, I have to succeed in everything I do. So my family really just played a huge role. Growing up, they always influenced me to just be the best I can be and always work hard. Don't be a quitter. Don't finish last. Just keep working hard in everything you do.
Now through that process, was that the only camp that you went to, or were there other camps? As far as like volleyball, even soccer, like did you go through a lot of camps and all that stuff during,
For kicking, I actually only went to 3 camps, and that was when COVID first started. So I went to one in Texas. That was my first one, and then I went to one in Vegas, and then I went to one in LA, and those were like the only ones. But before I went to like these camps, I guess you can say like not a camp, but a training program that I went to for volleyball was I was planning to I got invited to go to the Junior Olympics team in Texas and train with them to go play in Texas. So other than that, that was like the only main thing, the other main thing that I got to experience. So that's that, yeah, just the volleyball opportunity to go play Junior Olympics and then just these football camps.
What position you play for volleyball?
It was weird. So high school, like I started off as like a libero, but then I was also able to play like outside and DS. So that was like, it was interesting for volleyball. It was just whatever the team needed at the moment, I played.
Yeah.
You with that said, can you talk a little bit about some of the colleges and university that was coming at you, man? Can you talk a little bit about some of the choices that you had out there as well too during after that the rankings?
Mm-hmm. So when the rankings first came out, I only had small schools coming at me. So I only had like D3 schools. D3 schools were contacting me, and then the lower division NAIA schools were contacting me from around the United States. And then after that came in as my senior season approached and as it was happening, I got more scouts and more notice from D2 schools, and then D1 schools started coming in and contacting me more. So the D3 schools were small schools like in Oregon, Washington, and California from the area over here. And then NAIA schools were more from the Midwest area. So like Illinois was the first area that offered me a scholarship, right? And then Kansas area, Texas area. And then the D2 schools were more like in Colorado. So like Adams State, Western Oregon also was in contact with me. I was in contact with Azusa Pacific as well before they discontinued their program. Yeah. And then my first D1 opportunity was in Merrimack College. It's in Massachusetts. It's a Division I FCS level. And then after that Merrimack College, that was when Sac State came in contact with me, and Cal Poly came in contact with me. But, during like Sac State and Cal Poly, that was when I was in contact with Fresno State as well. So hometown school, right? And that's when that's pretty much all the schools that contacted me. But yeah, they just kept coming and coming, right? Small schools started first, but then as my senior season came, because schools wanted to see that senior year highlight, that's when the bigger schools started coming in and talking to me.
What were you doing during this time to advertise yourself? Was it more just game film, or were you actually putting stuff out for them to kind of see your talent?
During COVID, it was hard, like I mentioned before, coaches were not allowed to see you or come to the school to like watch you. It was a dead period to where no one knew what was happening because of COVID. So what I did was at the camp, I learned that you need to advertise yourself and promote yourself. So Twitter and social media was like the main platform that I used to advertise myself. So like the trainings that I did, the kicking sessions that I had, weightlifting, anything that I could post, like my GPA, my test scores, everything. I just posted it on my social media, and I would constantly also email coaches. I would have a template that I made, and I would email coaches. Like I would email them. I say maybe almost once every week, maybe, or once every other week, because they constantly get their attention. Sometimes it might just pop up in their spam folder. So sometimes you just need to consistently contact them.
Who's giving you advice to do all this, or was it just you thinking on your own and doing this on your own, man? Were there people talking to you, telling you, "Hey, Brian, you got to go do this to get yourself out there"? What was happening behind the scenes?
Who's your agent?
Hey, there's some credit.
Yeah. He got an agent.
I kind of learned a little bit just at the camp. Like the camp, they had like a Zoom, just like all they said was just like you need to promote yourself and contact coaches. They're not gonna come to you, And then after that, I was like, like I need to get started with this if I want to play college football, So I kind of just trial by error, I just kept doing it and doing it. The more you did it, just the more I learned, the longer I did it. But two people that really helped, or I had a few people in my area, but my friend on the team who's committed to Air Force right now, I'm playing at Air Force. Wow. He helped me a lot because he committed early. He got a lot of offers as well. So he helped me a lot, and he helped me with the recruiting stage and everything. And then my high school coach, Coach Tim Adebayo, he helped me a lot with reaching out to coaches as well. So he told me what to do, and he contacted them, and he let me know when they contacted me back, contacted him back, helped me if they're interested or not. And then my head coach as well. My head coach put in good words with all the people that he knew. But along with my head coach, other coaches in the area too, they kind of put in a good word for me when recruiters came and contacted them about their players. They kind of mentioned my name as well. So it was mostly just me. My parents didn't really know anything about it, which isn't surprising. And then other than that, I kind of did everything else. I kind of just learned.
Well, I was just gonna say, the coach and them, they may put in a good word, but you were doing all the work. You were putting in the time in the gym. You were putting the time, basically writing your resume, coming up with these one-liners to open and sell yourself to them. So to all the viewers out there who was watching Brian's story right now, it doesn't matter if you play football or not. You could be you could just want a position at a Walmart or whatever it is, a regular job in life. You got to get out there and promote yourself and talk about some of the skills that you have, man. Because Brian, you actually went out there. You are a go-getter. You went out there and promoted yourself and did it all on your own. All they did was just put in a good word.
You're talking about, like you said, a 4-star recruit. You know what I mean? He still went out there and did all that stuff by himself. So So it's such a great life skill to have. Next time if you're looking for a job for maybe a Fortune 500 company, you are able to sell yourself like that with all these different skills that you have, man. And then we're just talking about football here too, folks, with Brian. I mean, we're still going to get on some of his academics and stuff too, and some of the stuff that he's involved with academically as well too. Well-rounded young person here. So not just a jock, man, also a scholar as well too, man. So
a lot of people did think I was a jock, but
also a scholar. So that's very impressive. Can you talk about some of the football players that you kind of model your game after? Who are some of those football players?
So I kind of barely got into football not too long ago. So I'm still learning all the rules and the players, NFL. I'm learning how to play fantasy. I'm still learning. How to do all that stuff. But, the one main guy that really got me into it and like I looked up to first was Young Ho Koo. You know, he's the first like Korean kicker, and, like the first Asian kicker that like came into the NFL. You know, so I thought to myself that like, you know, hey, like if he can do it, that he just came here into the United States like not too long ago as a high school student. Like why can't I? You know, so he kind of motivated me. Although I didn't personally meet him, I looked up to him. He was my idol. Like if he could do it, I can do it. And then another guy that I really enjoy watching too is Justin Tucker. Justin Tucker is just one of the best in the game at the moment. You know, he has an NFL record, 66 yards. Like that's insane. You know. And then another guy I look up to as well is Cairo Santos. He's a small guy like me.
Chicago Bears.
Yeah, he's a small guy like me. So you know, I just figured, yeah, like same thing with Young Hui Koo. Like if he can do it, like I can do it too. Because I'm not the biggest guy, but you know, it just shows that I can do it as well if I put in the work.
Yeah.
What about other sports like volleyball and soccer?
Volleyball, I didn't really have like a professional athlete that I looked up to. I kind of looked up more to my cousins playing on A team.
Yeah.
And like the general like Hmong, like, I guess superstars in the Hmong. Like I always looked up to all of them. Like growing up, I would always watch prime time. It was always prime time. I always grew up watching prime time. So like Kong Chang, I always watched them. But like I'm just like, dang, like I want to be like that too. But like just seeing my cousins play, and I'm like, I want to have the IQ that they have in volleyball. You know. And then soccer, I'm not that huge of a fan of soccer, so I didn't have like a team or a guy that I looked up to in soccer. It was just mostly my brother, like because I think my brother's like really good in soccer, so I was just like, I want to be as good as him in soccer. So I like growing up, I looked up to him, trying to be as good as him in soccer.
Can I ask you a question? Are you still surprised you're this good at football, like kicking the football?
Kind of, yeah, because like it's still just the football like atmosphere and everything. It's just so still like new to me, you know. Like I'm still adjusting to it. It's just hard being with my teammates, and they're like, "Oh, I've been playing football since I was a kid," you know. Like it was my dream to play college football, but it's now like I was just like, "That's crazy!" Like I barely started playing like.
That's kind of like what I'm getting from you. Like you just fell onto it and you're just doing it as you go, but it's not something that like I wouldn't say that you're not passionate about it, but it's just you're just really great at it and you're just doing it because you're great at it. It's just like I was like I tell my son, you know, it's like you don't understand if someone is a genius unless you kind of open that door for him, you know what I mean? Like you don't know if somebody's a great violinist if you never show him a violin, you know what I mean? And that's kind of like where you're at. It's like you never knew you were a great kicker until like somebody was like, yeah, dude, come kick for us, and then boom, you're just like, whoa, you know. It almost seems like it's kind of boring for you because you're a genius at it almost, you know what I mean? Like not to say, you know, not to, you know, brag about you or anything like that, but it almost seems like you're a genius. So it's kind of like boring for you. It's like, oh man, I want to do something else because this is too easy for me. It almost seems like that, you know. That's why I'm saying that's why I asked, like, is it still like surprising for you that damn, like your skill is like not a lot of people have it, but for you it's just kind of like, oh yeah, it's just, you know, I just kick the ball, you know.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's it or not, but that's kind of the impression that I'm getting.
Yeah, I didn't have like a passion for it like when I first started, you know. But then like I playing it for a few more years, and I was like, oh, like I really like this, you know. It's relaxing, but at the same time, like I said, it's a lot of technical stuff, and I enjoy that, you know. I enjoy like the process behind it. So like within time I grew a passion for it. But when I first started, I was just like, I'm just doing it for fun, and you know, like they just told me to do it, so I'm just doing it. But like like I said, within time I grew older, I was like, you know, like I really like this, you know. It's something that I built a passion for.
True genius,
and I think
man.
Sometimes we get lost in like some of the goals that we want to set, but the main thing is like the process, going through it. And once you get into the process, you kind of develop these work habits, kind of like what you have, Brian, kind of like what Peng's son developed. Out of trying to be great, you kind of develop these system and habits, which can set you up for life as well, too. Kind of like what you were trying to do with some of these coaches that you were meeting. You just develop these work ethic and these habits as well, too. You know, so it's like a win-win situation going through some of this stuff, you know? So it kind of sets you up for life, man. You know?
It's just kind of crazy because, like, you know, a lot of kids, like you said, you got a lot of friends that I've been playing since I was 5, and you know, a lot of kids work up to be at your level, but then there's kids, special kids like you, who just pick it up and just, you know what I mean? Within a couple years, it's like, oh, you know, 4-star recruit. It's like, what the? That's crazy. You know what I mean? That is truly crazy. That's like, it's almost unheard. It's almost unheard of. You know?
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about that process. How were you able to get so good so fast? Talk about some of the work you put in when every kid was sleeping or when they were just chilling. Talk about how you grew so fast. What were you doing?
I started training like seriously for sports, like just so I can like win titles and everything in high school. Like my my sophomore year of high school, that's when I started like working out more and started training more seriously, just so I can win titles in high school. Didn't think about like, playing college, anything. So then I started going harder when COVID happened, right? I had a lot of free time, so I was just like, I'm gonna work out, like I'm gonna train hard for football. That's what I became passionate for, and then I worked my ass off like every day I can. I mean, I had to focus on school too, but I had much more free time than I did because I didn't have practice. I wasn't able to have practice, so I went to a local gym that was open, right? And then I worked hard every day. Like before, say I had class at 8:00, I'd be up at like 4:30. I would have weightlifting from like 5 to 7, and sometimes I would kick before class, or I would kick after class, like from like 6 to like 8. So I was always working no matter what, and like sometimes it was hard because I would see my friends like go out and like hang out and live like the high school life. They get to go hang out with memories, but I was like stuck training. You know, like some moments I did have like like I don't want to be training. I want to go out and have fun, but at the same time, like when I go out, it's just like it's fun in the moment, but then when you sit back and think about it, it's like no, you'd rather be training because it can get you somewhere further. You know, it's gonna get you towards your goal. So I definitely sacrificed a lot training and not like doing things with my friends, but then like they understood too at the same time, but it was in the end it was worth it for me because luckily I got to where I was at, and it's just it was all worth it in the end.
And I think a lot of go ahead, Peng. Well, I was gonna but well, I was gonna say a lot of what Bryant is saying is what like Philip said, what Michael said, our Vane girls who play volleyball up in Canada. It's kind of what they're saying as well too. They put in a lot of the time and they sacrifice a lot of their downtime where they could be hanging out with friends or going to the movies, doing typical teenage stuff. They sacrifice that lifestyle to their lifestyle, and in the end it kind of paid off where Brian had the chance to go to the NFL. Michael's in the pros. Philip is wrestling for Ohio State. The girls are playing volleyball. I mean, it's just, and all these athletes, not just you guys, all these athletes that we had on, they sacrificed their time in order to be great at something. And it just doesn't have to be football, but just sacrificing your time to work on your craft. That's just like, especially at a young age like you, Brian. And I know Peng's son does the same thing as well, too. They sacrifice a lot just to be great at something. And throughout the process, they kind of build, like I said, build this work ethic that kind of can help them throughout life as well, too. So.
Yeah, you guys are kind of like a testament to like, just anything, like just any kids with any skill set, any kids that kind of find their niche, it's just not good enough to kind of find your niche. You really, like you said, you really gotta like focus and kind of have that tunnel vision and sacrifice and the hard work and dedication, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's just not good enough just to find your niche. It, you know, you gotta, you know, put in that hard work also. And I think you guys are, you know, it's like you guys are special, but your work ethic speaks, you know, even more, you know, about how special you guys are. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Part of like they call like this thing like the 1%. Part of the 1% people who have this work ethic, and you guys are probably like potentially could be part of the 1% who put in the work, sacrifice, and all this kind of stuff. Because I remember when I was your age, I didn't even think about all this. You know, and for you guys to see and think about, you know, your future and what you need to do, it's just, you know, extremely impressive. So, man, big compliments to you. So, let me go on the board real quick to see some of the comments. I know some of your friends and family are saying what's up as well, so give them a shout out, okay? So Yen Kong said, what's up? Moi. So obviously your Hmong name is Mochi?
Yeah, my Hmong name is Mochi.
Okay. And then Bixler says, what's up, Mochi? So is that your cousin or family member?
Yeah, Yen Kong and Bixler are my cousins, yeah.
Okay. And then Amanda Yang here says, hi, Bryant. Bay or Ba, is it Bay? Tuning in from Oklahoma. So that's it. Focus, keep your focus, keep your grind, young gun. That's right. See, all these encouragement, man. That's what we want to see, this encouragement for our young people for sure. Big Star Valley champ and state champ for volleyball, right? Man, they say you're a beast, man. You got any highlight films, by the way, of you playing volleyball?
Not really. I never made one. I never made one.
Look that up. Do some research on that. Botster Tall said, "What's up, Bryant?" Rich says, "My boy Moochie, Rich Tall." Cha Tall said, "Hi, Bryant." Yilang said, "Sunisa Lee." Yes, man, for sure, paving the way, man. Austin Vang said, "Yo." Fumi Yang says, "Keep it up, Brian." Yang Kong said, "Your brother Brandon," right? Your brother Brandon. I think we had a conversation. I think he kind of just clarified who your brother was. And then Kong Yang said, "Let's go, Brian." Big said, "How's that knee? What's up with your knee, Brian? Is your knee okay?"
I this previous game I made a tackle and I kind of bruised my IT band. Yeah, so the guy managed to get through, and then I was the last guy, and I hit him out of bounds.
A kicker's, it's either the kicker's worst nightmare or like the best thing that ever could happen to a kicker, because you actually get to hit him. So
yeah, you want that smoke?
Yeah. It was one of
like, man, I hit the gym this week. I want to come my way.
Yeah. It was a fun moment when I got to hit that guy. I mean, obviously it sucked because I get one contact of the season, I get hurt. But it was like I can't say it was worth it, but it was just like it's kind of what a kicker kind of looks forward to sometimes. You know, after like not getting I guess contact for the whole season. You know, you get that initial contact for the first time, and it's like it's a refrigerator, refresher. Like, oh shoot, I'm playing football. No, I'm not it was interesting. That guy was pretty big too, and that guy hit.
Okay. Was he running full speed at you, or was he making a cut, or what was happening there?
He was running down the sideline, so I think he was running full speed down.
Oh shit! You ever had a good week at the gym, right? And be like, "Man, I want this smoke. Somebody come at me, man."
Oh yeah. That's kind of what I feel like every week, because like I like going hard in the gym, especially on upper body. Yeah. So so I'm always like, oh yeah, like I'm ready, Like sometimes the linemen or like the corners and safeties, the linebackers, they're like, "Damn, Bryant, like, dude, come play with us, like, dude, let's make some hits." And I'm like, I don't know. Sometimes it's like, yeah, I want it, but sometimes it's like, no, I'm good. You guys are just too big. Like, I'm not.
Yeah. They got you by like 100 pounds, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Sometimes when you do that, right, you kind of earn your street cred, right? They kind of like, okay, all right, he's all right. Mm-hmm. You know, because sometimes some of the kickers, they like to avoid the contact. When you get in, they're like, okay.
What's your official height and weight, man?
I'm 5'6", and then before I came into fall camp and before I came here for college football, I weighed like 150, 155.
Okay.
But then like at mid season and like after fall camp, I weighed 165. So that whole month of just training and eating football, like that's it. That's all I did. I gained a lot of like muscle from that. Like the things that they make us do here are pretty insane, and then like my numbers in the weight room just went insanely high too.
What kind of workout you guys do? Like deadlifts, squats, or cleans?
Yeah, deadlifts, squats, power cleans, bench, like different types of bench with different bars. It's a lot of like heavy lifting too, but it's all like explosive too, and eccentric and all that stuff. It's a mixture. It's a mixture of everything.
Okay. Did you just start lifting when you got to college, or were you doing it in high school, anyways?
I first started like when I was training hard for sports in high school. I started with like body weight stuff, so calisthenics. My brother got me into that. So like right now, I would say I'm pretty comfortable with my body weight, like doing exercise with my body weight. And then I barely started like weightlifting seriously when COVID first happened. When I started going to that private gym and getting like training with them, that's when I first started like weightlifting. And then like my transitioning from body weight to that was like a tough transition, right? But then like I built up like strength from the body weight because I added weights to my body weight, so I built up more strength the last summer during COVID, and then coming here was like the first time where I actually trained specifically just for football and not like other sports, because in high school I was a multi-sport athlete, so I didn't get the chance to just train for one sport.
Sure. Let's round up some of these comments right here. Kong Yanks go to work hard to succeed. It's the process. Definitely, Kong. I agree with that. The process, the results will come. The process is what matters, in my opinion. So, Kevin said, nice hit last weekend, for sure. And then Pahua, I think this is your mom. Your mom is Pahua, right?
Yeah.
Your mom said, hi, son, we're happy for you. Thanks so much for Will and Pheng. Well, thank you. We wouldn't be here without Bryant right here succeeding. So thank you for giving this opportunity for my son. He is my son. He is our son for the community. Thank you. Yes, hopefully Mochi does realize that he's representing a whole village, if you say, whether he notices whether he wants the job or not, he's gonna have to do it. Kind of like the Tanisa Lee, where she kind of represent the whole Hmong race or the Hmong, nation and stuff. So for sure, I think Brian has a great head on his shoulder to take on that responsibility, in my opinion, so far. From what I've seen of him, he is our son. He's our son for the community. It's great to hear a Hmong name, Thao, on ESPN. Definitely. Thanks again. We love you. Man, that's great words from your mom, man.
Yeah.
Does your mom, when you started playing football, did your mom not, you know how every mom is, right? They're very protective. They don't want their kids to get hurt. When you started playing football, did she try to like convince you not to, or was she like all for it?
She was scared. She was all for it because she wanted to see someone, like she wanted to come to like the stadium and watch a son play, right?
Right.
But she was scared, like when I'm at school and she gets a phone call, she would get scared because she was gonna say like, "Oh, it's my son Mochi, you got hurt." So she was mostly scared. She didn't like hold back on me playing. She was just worried and scared about me because of how small I was compared to how big everybody else was. So yeah.
Have you ever got injured in a game at all?
No. So the worst injury I kind of had was I got blindsided from behind and I hurt my back. So that wasn't like too bad though. But one thing that really scared my mom was during football practice. Like it's the way that it happened was kind of dumb. But we were doing speed and agility drills. It was like early in the morning, like 5:36, right? And we were doing speed and agility drills. And then I slipped and I landed wrong on my elbow, so I dislocated it. And then that was like the only bad thing. And when that happened, she was like, "See, this is why."
Like you better quit. This is done. We're done with this.
I'm just like in my head, I was just like, "Mom, like you just be happy. It's not my leg. It's okay. It's my arms. It'll be okay."
That's the money maker, the leg.
Yeah.
Those are nice words from your mom. Like like I'm a big advocate of like not of Hmong athletes, like Will and I and this channel, and you know, I'm sure all you guys are, and like I just don't like to see, you know, like I tell my son, you know, I just don't like to see like the first Hmong this, first Hmong that. Like I like to see a collective group, you know what I mean? Like just like a collective group of Hmong athletes make it, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter if you're the first one, don't matter if you're the last one. Like I just like to see, you know, a huge group of, you know, Hmong athletes make it, you know.
Yeah, and we're starting to see that.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, at every level, like, you know, we like to say, from the park to the universities and all the way to the pros, man, to the biggest show there is. I mean, we're out there representing at all levels, that's for sure. But let's see, let's get back on track right here, man. I have no idea where we are, Bryant, man.
How'd you choose Cal Poly? Yeah.
Oh, there we
How
go.
did you commit? Or
yeah. So choosing
what were your choices? And
choosing a school is definitely a tough choice for me. You know? Like these bigger schools contacted me. They contacted me kind of late in the season. Like I almost graduated already, and they like barely contacted me. You know, so it was rough choosing a school because the two biggest offers I had, like Sac State and Cal Poly, they offered me really late, and it was hard to decide because I was like, okay, I need to make a decision whether I'm gonna take the JUCO route and go to Santa Rosa City College and play JUCO and then transfer out, or hopefully I can hope for the best and something bigger comes, right? So luckily I was able to get Sac State and Cal Poly, and it was either between those two. And one of the main factors that why I chose Cal Poly was because of the education wise that you're gonna get from here, because the Cal Poly degree is really, really good, you know. And no hate to Sac State. Sac State's an amazing school as well. You're gonna get your degree at CSU, but it's just the location wise of Cal Poly too. Like, you can't beat the location of Cal Poly, can't beat the education, you know, and like still the opportunity to play D1 football from that is just, it was like a best package I can take. So that's those are the main reasons why I took Cal Poly over Sac State.
Now, you said the academics was very important to you, and it was part of your decision as well too. Can you share some of the stuff that you were involved? Well, I have it here. You were part of, well, I don't want you to brag about yourself. Let me say it. You probably get uncomfortable saying it. Okay. So I would say it. So you were part of the National Honor Society, student council, many leadership opportunities in school as well to help fundraise, did all sorts of stuff. Why were you so involved in school? And why was this important for you? Why did you do this?
It was important to me to be involved in my school because personally, I wanted to give back to the community who helped me raise me, you know, like help me be who I am today. So I wanted to be involved with my school, do as many community service events as I can, give back to my school, because I mean, yeah, like it's cool being in the stands at school, but like when you run the behind the scenes and you see how happy it makes people and like how joyful they are after the event, like nothing's better than that, you know. I personally love to give rather than receive, so that always just made me want to be more involved in school. I enjoyed seeing happy faces like after you did all the hard work and help set up, do behind the scenes, do all the planning, do all that stuff. And many years of doing that in like middle school and high school, it made me want to keep doing it. So that's why I did all the stuff I did, like leadership. Leadership was tough, but I love doing it. And then like academic wise, joining the CSF and NHS, I really got influenced to do that due to my brother and sister. They were in high school, they did it too, and like seeing them get their reward at the award ceremony, and like with a smile on their face and just all the hard work finally coming, like paying off, I was like, you know, I want to do that too. So they were a huge influence to me, like being involved in CSF and NHS, and same with like the leadership too. They did it too, and like they looked so happy doing it, and I was like, you know, I want to do it too. And then turns out when I did it, I loved it too. So hopefully I can like inspire other Hmong kids as well too.
Yeah. Hopefully so. we would like to see more representation in leadership opportunities and in the National Honor Society. I know a lot of our Hmong students are more than capable. It's just a matter of taking the next step and, not shying away from the public or just getting involved and representing. And, I'm not sure if at your school, if you were the only Hmong students in the National Honor Society or any of these things that you joined, but I'm sure glad that you did join and you did represent the Hmong, whether you know it or not, you kind of represented the Hmong student body when you were there. So,
Yeah.
Sometimes when we do stuff, we forget that, we are represented, because I feel like the Hmong people are very underrepresented. And then for you to be in there, just, with a Thao last name, people see it like, oh, there's a Hmong kid in the National Honor Society, for sure, man. So
yeah,
that's a huge deal, man. Can you talk a little bit about, I know that in football, you have a full-fledged schedule, and then you got your academics as well, too, taking class full-time, playing football full-time. You've been doing this since high school. Can you talk about how you balance both these worlds, and not even talking about that as well, too, family as well, too, your personal life? Can you talk about balancing all of that?
Yeah. High school was like, I thought high school was hard, right? Like managing sports and all these sports in class. But then like now that I come here, like high school was not a joke, but high school was just easy. Like you can't compare it to college. Like, college is just the next level.
Yeah.
So high school, I always try to just do my homework in class, and I was always ahead in high school. So I always just did my homework in class and finished my work early, so I could just after school just boom strictly football and strictly sports. That's it. So I would just have to worry about that, right? And then when I need to study for a test, I study for a test. But coming here to Cal Poly was a different change, like fall camp, it was just football all day. Football from 8 in the morning to like maybe 7 o'clock at night. Like even today, like we have busy schedules. So some days, Tuesdays are like my rough days. Luckily, practice got moved yesterday from 7:30 p.m. to 11 p.m.
Yeah.
Practice was late yesterday, but usually Tuesdays are my busy days where I have lifting in the morning at 5:45. I'll get up around 4:35-ish, and I would go lifting, and then I would have meetings, and practice would start from roughly 8:30 to around 12, and then I would have like an hour to eat, shower, and then go to class, because then I'll have class from 1 to like 6:30, and then I still have homework, so I gotta find some time to do homework. But not only that, but I need to eat too. I need to replenish calories I lost, so I need to eat. So yeah, it's busy. Like you're really busy. You try to have time for yourself. Yeah. Sometimes like I take like breaks, and I kind of watch like movies or like a series, just like kind of like feel like a human being. Not just like stress and all this work. So sometimes I do that, or like when we don't have practice, right? Like I sometimes try to go to the beach or just take walks and play music, or I play music, to help be like a stress reliever. But I try my best to get as much free time as I can. But other than that, it's now just school and football, because it's a grind. It's really a hard grind. You have to be committed to doing it if you really want to.
It is a full-time job. It takes up your whole day, it seems like, just school. Because first of all, you're there for the school. I mean, you're a student athlete, right? And then you're trying to do the athlete things too, and it leaves you with little time just to like, do stuff for yourself. That's why I don't understand sometimes how college football players get in trouble going to places. They're just like, man, where do you guys even find the time to get into these kind of trouble? Like, geez. And we got Bryant here doing, all he can to keep his head afloat, man. So, great work ethic, man. I really gotta, commend you guys for going through the process, because sometimes when you're going through it, you don't even know you're doing all this kind of stuff until you have a time to relax, sit back, and like, damn, like I did all this stuff today. Holy cow! And I do it every single day. Like, geez. So.
What are you trying to major in?
I'm currently majoring in business administration and management. I'm hoping we have to declare a concentration. here at Cal Poly. So I'm either gonna have a concentration in either real estate finance or marketing / entrepreneurship, one of those three. But I'm kind of leaning towards the marketing and real estate finance area. Yeah, that's what I'm planning to major in.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah.
Let's go with this. Can you share your thoughts on being a role model for Hmong athletes? I don't know if you gave it much thought before we asked you this question, but can you share your thought on potentially being a role model? Well, you are a role model already. You know, can you share some of your thoughts? What do you think of that?
You know, I think it's a huge honor. You know, like I growing up, I didn't think that I was like gonna be where I'm at today and be like a role model for the youth, you know, the future youth, especially in the Hmong community. But I think it's a great opportunity for me, you know, to spread a positive word and show a positive like image to the youth that, you know, like, hey, we can do it too as Hmong people, you know, like coming here, these Mika people, they didn't know what Hmong people were. Like when I told them I was Hmong, they're like, Mongolian. I was like, no, like I'm Hmong, like Hmong, like
got the same thing we got.
Yeah, like like people say it always happened to them, but like it didn't. I was like, no, it's fake. But like when it happened to me, I was like, oh shoot, like people really don't know who we are, you know. And then
underrepresented, man.
Until Sanisa Lee like won the gold and everything, that's when they're like, oh, so you're Hmong like Sanisa, and I was like, yeah, I'm Hmong like Sanisa, you know.
Well, that's crazy. That's over 40 years of, you know, of being here. You know, I mean, that's, you know, that's kind of crazy if you think about it.
Like I'm honestly like I'm truly honored to be classified as a role model for the Hmong youth. Like I hope that I can continue to like make the Hmong community proud and, you know, lead the way and be the stepping stone for the Hmong youth. So like I mentioned, it's just I'm really honored to be a role model.
You know, and then, you know, not to put a lot of pressure on you because, you know, you're already facing a lot of pressure from just trying to make a career out of your football aspirations. But, you know, this is just another thing on top of whatever you're going through. But, you know, just don't put a lot of pressure on you. I know we call you a role model. We want to put we're not trying to intentionally put pressure on you, but
there's no pressure, but don't fuck it up, okay?
We just want you to represent wherever you go, whether it's football, whether it's in student council, whether it's wherever it is, just represent, you know, first and foremost yourself, and then, you know, your family, and then everybody else. So first and foremost, represent yourself first. So, you know, be yourself and do your thing, man. Let's go to some of the comments here. I think a couple of people kind of came in and said hi, and then we will try to wrap it up here with the last couple of questions here.
Sounds good.
Let's see here. Young Powell said, hi, Bryant. Boxster said, how much is your single leg squat? How much can you squat? Max out, how much? He asked.
I think my max squat might be like maybe in like the 420 range, maybe like 425, something around that range.
Shoot,
that's impressive, dude. How much pound do you weigh?
160 right now.
That's like 3 times your weight or something.
You're right. If I leg press a whole car.
Yeah,
that is impressive.
Upper body is like, upper body's decent.
Yeah.
How much do you bench? Your max?
I haven't hit my max, but the last time we hit bench, I believe I hit 2 plates for 3 reps.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good for my weight.
Yeah, for your weight, that's like that's almost man, that is really good. Wow, that's very impressive. And then you said you just kind of started lifting during the COVID, so that's like 2 years ago.
Yeah,
you started going hard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. Real question though, how many beers can you chug in a row?
I wouldn't know that answer.
How many shotguns? Come on, man. Just because your mom's listening. Yeah.
Hey, he's not trying to be a bad influence here, man. You know, you go to college, man. You got a major. Your major is a doctor. Your minor is just drinking a little beer, I guess. So.
Gotta stay disciplined.
Let's see here. Let's see what else folks are saying. We said Catalina. Is that your sister? She said, "Oh, we love you, little bro." That must be your sister. Hi, Kat. You got a great brother here. Great family, baby bro. My nephew don't drink, of course. Someone's vouching for you, man. He don't do hot stuff. So. Good. Someone got to keep him straight, man. Hopefully, the whole fam got him protecting him, man.
Yeah, they're protecting well.
For sure. With this, Bryant, man, we really appreciate your time here. We got 2 more questions for you. You know, like we said, you are in the middle of the season. You got workout, you got school, you got all sorts of stuff. We are really CrossCourt and Pheng and me. We are really appreciative of you and all the athletes around the nation, all the Hmong athletes taking the time out and speaking with us. So, big shout out to you for making the time. With this, Bryant, can you share your academic goals and your football goal? What do you hope to achieve in both of these?
Yeah. So academic wise, I really hope to finish my journey here at Cal Poly in 4 years. You know, I want to get my education first, and then connecting to my football goals before like I can declare for the NFL draft. I really want to finish my degree here first at Cal Poly. You know, I want to focus on my education first, and then go to the NFL draft. You know, declare for that. Because then, you know, if things don't work out, I have academics as my backup plan. You know, I have my degree and I can go get a job within my degree, right? So along with my academic goals, you know, hopefully to try my best to get a 4.0 every quarter here. We run a quarter system, so it's definitely tough, but I know that I can do it if I put just as much work on the field and in the weight room as I do in the classroom. So those are my really academic goals, is to really just get my degree here in Cal Poly in 4 years, and then pass all my classes and do my best that I can here with how busy I am. And then my goals for football, obviously, declare for the NFL, become the first Hmong NFL player.
Let's go.
Yep. And then along with that is hopefully to be put on full scholarship here at Cal Poly and become the main guy here and make history here at Cal Poly, and, you know, set the tone, be the first Hmong and Hmong All-American in the conference, man.
That's music to my ears. Whether it's the NFL or, you know, the other leagues, man, just you going through it, it's gonna like set off so many people just to, you know, now we have a blueprint. You know what I mean? There's a blueprint. There's a young man who went through it, and I'm so glad that you're here to talk about this journey as well too. And hopefully you can keep us updated, and hopefully 3 years from now you're not too big to talk to us and we're like, hey Brian, can we talk to you? Can you sign my autograph first though, man?
No, I won't do that. You know, I always I want to get back to the community. You know, I'm not going to forget my roots. You know, I would never forget my roots, because, you know, that's what made me who I am today, and that's how I got here. You know, I wouldn't be here without the support from my community. So I would never forget that.
For sure, man. We can't wait to see how far you can make it academically. Hopefully, you know, you can continue education beyond your 4 years there as well too. And, you know, hopefully you hit your the highest pinnacle in football, which is the NFL. We hope that you could kick for the Vikings, man. I heard they've been looking for a kicker for the past 10 years, dude.
Hey, hopefully, man. What if things work out? That could be a possibility.
Dude, that would be tight. You like that's football. You know how there's a lot of Hmong people in Minnesota, man. You can get up there. Oh my God, I could just imagine the towel jerseys, man. The number 66 on the back with the towel on it, man. Dude,
you don't want to do that, man. You don't want to pick for the Vikings.
You're not gonna win anything, but man, at least you'll be on the squad, man. Because Vikings, they haven't won anything in years. I don't think they ever won a Super Bowl though. So Man, we are definitely going to cheer you on. You know what? Like a lot of our athletes that we have on, like, you know, you guys are so humble and you guys are so well spoken for your age, and you guys have this vision already, kind of, you know, and you're following and pursuing these goals as well too, and you guys are putting in the work. That's so impressive. Like for Bryant and a couple of our athletes, actually all of our athletes, young athletes that have come on to our show, you guys have everything like lined up, and it's just a matter of execution and going through the process. And that is so impressive. And I hope that our viewers, young or old, can draw something from your guys' experiences. So
yeah, and I definitely hope like you know, all the, you know, we started with, you know, a lot of old guys and a lot of legends of, you know, volleyball and whatnot, and kind of moved on to like younger athletes, you know, such as yourself, you know, and I truly hope like this kind of platform kind of relieves, you know, because I know a lot of, you know, young athletes, they have a lot of pressure on them, and I hope this kind of relieves a lot of pressure off you guys, and kind of, you know, we kind of want to just capture your story, and hopefully like it kind of relieves that pressure. Like, man, if I don't make it, you know, at least my story is captured, and the next skit can pick up from where I left off. You know what I mean? So like, I don't want any athletes to feel like, man, it's either make it or you're nothing. You know what I mean? Like, no, man, like no, like you guys are special already, man. You guys, like, all you guys, all the young kids that came on, man, you guys are all my heroes already. You know what I mean? and I'm like 36 years old, and you know, like, all you guys are my heroes, man. Like, I'm a big fan of all you guys, you know. So
CrossCourt, man, we're a huge fan of the young athletes, all Hmong athletes in general, because you guys are setting the standard. Bryant, appreciate it so much. You know, you are a young fella with, you know, great parents and a great family, great head on your shoulders. Man, we hope we see you in real life. Maybe attend one of your games.
We gotta ask that. We gotta ask that relationship question, like how we ask everybody else.
What's that?
That relationship
that one
question? Where you at? Is it complicated?
Well, you know what? We asked Mike and we asked Philip. You know, so Philip shared a story where, you know, where Philip Koo, he's a wrestler for Ohio State. He shared a story where he was, during a point in time in his life, he wanted to quit wrestling because, I don't want to throw Philip under the bus because we keep on mentioning him, but there's a situation where he had to, like, you know, get rid of a girlfriend because he couldn't stay focused. So he kind of got rid of the girlfriend and saw his future. Look, I got to do what I got to do. So have you ever ran into that situation where you're like, you know what, I can't be focusing on relationship right now. I'm focusing on what I got to do.
No, not really. Good. But I mean, I told myself that, like, you know, I can't get caught up in that. Sure. You know, like, if I were to have a girlfriend, you know, like, I want her to be supportive in what I'm doing and like the journey that I'm on. You know, she has to be supportive of that. If she's not supportive, and like, you know, she's not the one. You know, it's like, it sucks to say it, but like, if everything's perfect, she doesn't support that, then it's like she can't be it, you know.
And vice versa, right?
Yeah, I have to support her, and she has to support me.
For sure, man. And it's very important for you, especially, and all our people out there, to stay on the grind. You know, no matter what the situation is, know where you're going and stay on the path, and don't let anybody distract you. Yeah. Whether it be your parents, whether it be your girlfriend, whether it be your dad, stay on the grind and stay focused. Yeah. So, man, Brian, man, I think Brian should run for some mayor of the town or something. He gave like a cookie cutter answer right there. I thought he was gonna go all the way right or all the way left, man, but he's like right in the middle.
Last question. We're gonna see you at Fresno New Year at all? Or I mean, we're not gonna be there, but you're gonna play?
Oh, no, I won't play. I don't want to risk like getting hurt or anything, but I'll definitely be at Fresno New Year. I mean, that's my home, so I'll be on winter break. I won't have football during that time, so I'll definitely be home. enjoying some Hmong food again, missing all that,
Awesome.
spending time with family, and enjoying the New Year again. Because I mean, it's been like 2 years since we've had a New Year, so
Okay.
Sure.
I mean, I'll definitely be there.
For sure. All right. Hey, Bryant, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Say hi to your pops,
you.
man. Huge
Young
fan of
king.
him. And, you know, say what's
Young
up to your
king.
mom and your whole family.
Got it. Thank you guys for having me, man.
Thanks.
It was
Yeah.
truly
Man,
an honor.
thank you for sharing your story. We are honored because we don't, the thing about your journey is we don't know where it's going to end up yet, but wherever it ends up, you're going to do great things. So
you're ready, successful, man. Everything else is just extra credit, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, take care.